by Sophie, Grace, and Christy. Okay. The United States over a few years had enjoyed having the upper hand as the superpower in production and usage of nuclear bombs. Scientists such as J. Robert Oppenheimer contributed to the making of the atomic bomb in the Manhattan Project during the war. However, the entire balance changed as, on September 23, 1949, the Soviet Union launched a successful test of an atomic bomb. This groundbreaking event signified the beginning of the nuclear arms race.
But no, not. It's 1403. We still have
Despite the protests of many scientists and military leaders, Truman gave the green light to begin the production of the deadlier hydrogen bomb. The hydrogen bomb would be 500 times more powerful than the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In 1952, the H-bomb was complete. For the time being, the U.S. had the upper hand yet again in the nuclear arms race. 1 year later, the Soviet Union developed the hydrogen bomb themselves. Here are some photos of other nuclear weapons that were developed during the arms race.
The United States devised a strategy to get what they wanted from the Soviet Union, brinkmanship. Secretary of State John Foster Dulles came up with this idea, getting what you want by threatening mass destruction or going on the brink of war. Meanwhile, nationalists in Taiwan signed a treaty with the U.S., furthering their effort to contain communism. This treaty came after an attack from Communist China on nearby islands in 1954. China attacks again, and the United States uses their new successful strategy of brinkmanship and proves it to be successful. Now, the Soviet Union and the United States are on the same level again. This is not good for the tensions between the USSR and the US. With the new threat of a more destructive, powerful bomb on each side, both countries had to resort to mutually assured destruction. Dulles proposed to use high-power weapons to intimidate the Soviets, and the Soviets had the same idea.
The 1960s saw a decrease in the fervor of the competition between the United States and the USSR. Steps were taken to decrease the amount of nuclear weapons in the world. In 1963, the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty was created, banning above-ground nuclear testing. In the next decade, more measures were taken. In 1972 and 1979, treaties following the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks limited nuclear missiles and launching sites. In the 1980s, defense systems started again. However, the tensions were soon released again in 1987, when both sides signed the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, reducing the stockpile of nuclear weapons. The Russian state, having economical and political turmoil, agreed to lower their stock of weapons even further.
Today, new threats are gaining between the U.S. and Russia. At least 6 countries are known to have nuclear weapons, and that number is likely to rise even further. Rogue states are countries with weapons of mass destruction. Sponsoring terrorism is a new threat facing world leaders today, and the previously used method of mutually assured destruction may not work on today's terrorists, who are smaller, may not use conventional military attacks, and may actually want to die for their cause.